Ladies and gentlemen, we've had the coin toss in the center of the field. Our officials for today's game, referee Park Si-yoon of Korea. First assistant is Yang Sun-young from also Korea, and second assistant Tobias Kozinski from Germany. Our fourth official, Leandro de Lima from Brazil. The United States coming out onto the field. They've got the white tops, the white pants, and the white socks. China onto the field with the red tops, black pants, and red socks. Military Women's Soccer Championship. Instead, the United States will take over. Great shot, though, towards the goal. And China shows very quickly that they came ready to play. United States not really knowing what to expect, but as I talk with the Chinese coaches, Of course, they had the highest regard, highest respect for the United States team. Among the concerns, they said, is that the United States will be playing in front of a home crowd on their home field in weather that they are used to. Plus, they are big and they are strong. So they feel about the United States team. But thus far, China's had possession early on in this game in the first 4 minutes. Griffith gets it back out for the United States. Derek Whalen, the coach, the Air Force coach, coaching the United States team. He's assisted by Marcy Walton as well as Aaron Isler. And this team made up largely of Air Force personnel. Challenge for the ball, grouping, push from the backside. And indirect kick by China now. Yao Wei puts it in play. And they go over to the left side. Down to the corner. Coming across once again. And cleaning it nicely. The defense from the United States. China pressing on the right side. Another shot on goal, and this one, too, will sail over the crossbar. So 2 shots and 2 long shots over the crossbar. Kelly Griffith has the goal kick. She'll put it back up. Good long kick down towards the midfield line. That came off the head of one of the United States players, but up she pops. That was Scotty Colton of the United States Marine Corps. She's a first lieutenant who came to this team from Iwakuni, Japan. And here comes China down their left side. Cleared again nicely by the United States. Header back towards Kelly Griffith, who will quickly turn it around. We're in the 6th minute of this contest. Early on, it's game 1 tonight. We've got 2 games on tap. At 9 p.m. Mountain Time, it's going to be the Republic of South Korea and Canada. But right now, it's the United States and China. Challenge in the center. United States comes away with it. China back on defense. They're playing basically a 4-4-2 is China. And altercation on the far side. Out of bounds. Goes over to the United States. Temperature, it's another warm one here in El Paso, Texas. And here comes the United States. Let's see if they can mount an attack now. They've been back on defense for the first 7 minutes of this ball game. And China controlling the ball nicely, I might add. As Kristen Whitehurst puts on the pressure. Whitehurst in the Navy came to this team from Japan. She calls home Dumfries, Virginia. And as you can see, members of the United States team from all throughout the military, Army, Air Force, Navy, and Marines. China on the attack. Down low, the pass goes wide, and shot on goal. Nice save that time. Nice save by Kelly Griffith. A dive, a block, did a really nice job on the save. Otherwise, China once again could have been looking towards their first point. The challenge with a team coming into this competition for the first time that you have not seen, you have no scouting reports, so you really don't know what their strengths or their weaknesses may be. And if there's any thought process about, well, the size or the strength or the speed of the United States, China has not shown it thus far. But we have a lot of soccer still ahead of us. Out in the center of the field, that's Whitehurst. She goes back to the USA's left side. Up the field that time, too. Only have it taken away. They're on the charge to challenge that time. Kyla Bradell. Here comes China once again. They set up on goal. Another great diving save by Kelly Griffith. And she is earning her pay here in the early portion of this game. Two very nice saves by Griffith. United States with the ball now. Let's see if they can move it up the field. Good long pass, but nobody down there to take it on. But here comes the United States now. Dribble in the center of the pack, and then out to the right side. Thwarted just a little bit is Captain Ariel Salton. Stays in bounds, heads down to the far right corner of the U.S., and finally goes out. So the United States down for the furthest portion of this field that they have been on tonight. And a quick in and out, and they will set it up and try it again. Good long cross pass in on the header to knock it out. And then an attempt that time by Kristen Cooper of the Air Force. No good. It comes back the other way with China in possession. China playing very, very under control, showing good technical skills and great field awareness right now. So they will send it back and they will try to take control of it again. Comes over to Li Yuting. She'll center the ball. Challenge out in the middle. That time, Ariel Saltin helped turn it around for the United States. Burdell sent it back to the center and out now to Cooper on the right side. Cooper leads long and knocked out of bounds. I said it was a hot one here today. Compared to the past 104 degrees today when we started this game, it's only 98. All things are relative, my friends. All things are relative. Got comments coming back in from Facebook. We appreciate them very, very much. If you're tuned in and can give us a shout out here, we will be glad to return the recognition the best we can. But we will be focused on the field. And wherever you are, we are glad you're with us here tonight in this, the first game on the third day of the World Military Cup for Women. Now the United States playing under control, back on defense, going to move it up the left side if they can, but China has a wall. Quickly, back the other way. Comes Lin Yangjin. Kelly Griffith will put it in play. She gets things started and goes over to the right side of the USA. Dribbling up. Passing across to the center. And thwarted once again by China. China pressing on the United States half of the field, forming a wall that makes it very difficult to penetrate for the women's military team from the United States. In the goal, that is Tri J. 3G for China back in the goal. And she's only had a couple of touches so far. The United States, they've had a couple of great saves already by Kelly Griffith. So goalie's not figuring too much in this game tonight. Early on, as we have seen them in the past with the Netherlands and with Canada, and with France and Germany, a lot of activity by the goalies, but not so much here tonight, thus far. Here comes China, right side once again. Dribble one-on-one, and nice job of breaking it up by the United States. Trying to take control of that action was Li Yuting from China. Player stepping in to get things done that time was Jin Gillette. Time to clear the ball, comes out to the left side, and it's going to roll out of bounds. Jin Gillette's one of the leaders of this team. She's in the United States Air Force stationed at Mountain Home, Idaho. And she happens to fly F-15s when she is not playing soccer. Down the center comes China again. Off to the left side. Good pursuit. Great hustle on the play that time by Yao Wei. You got to love the name, Yao Wei. Here comes China again. Tried to get out to the right side. They find Yuting again on the right side. Yuting's going to set it up with the cross pass. She'll go across, looking for the header, possibly from her teammate, but outsteps Kelly Griffith once again to break it up. And right now, Kelly Griffith is having a tough day at the office. But she is playing well, is the goalkeeper for the United States. Maggie Paulson will throw it in. China centers the ball, works the sides very well. And the kick down towards the goal that Kelly Griffith will take over once again. We are in the 16th minute here in the first half of this game. Following the laws of FIFA, 2 45-minute halves, but because this is a group game, there will be no overtime, or no extra periods, I should say. This game may end in a draw, as all group games may. But yet, when you get into the medal games, that's when you're going to have the 2 15-minute extra periods, and if necessary, a penalty shootout. Here comes China, center of the field, crosses nicely. On the field, Lin Yao-Yung. Yao-Yung back to the center. She launches one in the direction of Griffith, but Griffith, centered nicely in the middle of the goal, makes the stop. Credit China. Yao Wei and Yuting playing hard in the center of the field and controlling the action to a very large degree. Long pass up the left side, but nobody there, out of bounds. China will take it. They get it upfield quickly. They like to stay in the middle and have things work out from the middle. The trip goes against Kristen Cooper. Indirect by the United States. They keep it moving quickly and back down towards the goalie. Tryouts. Far right corner. See if they can get it to the center. Back out to the corner. Coming in quickly is Wishart. There's your cross pass, but taken away once again by China. They will start the trek back up the field. Pass to the center. Pass ahead. Pass over to the right side. Good effort, good hustle that time by Lin Yangjin. Yangjin back to the center. Shot back up over the goal off the foot of Li Yan. So Li leaves it high. Say that 2 or 3 times. Lee leaves it high. Griffith. Back out to her teammate. We're in the 18th minute right now with no score, but China knocking on the door. Here they come again in force. Left wing. Shot on goal off the pole, back onto the field, and cleared by the United States. Again, USA takes a deep breath on what could have been another goal by China. Wow. Sometimes the ball bounces for you, and sometimes the ball bounces against you, and that time it bounced clearly against China and for the United States. 0-0 is the score. China again pounding hard up, and it's a goal! China on the board with a good long shot that went over the outstretched hands of the goalkeeper Kelly Griffith and into the back of the net, and China has their first point in CISM and takes a 1-0 lead over the United States. That goal came in the 19-minute mark and gives China a 1-0 lead. Two teams totally unfamiliar with each other, going strictly on, well, thoughts, perceptions, and ideas, but yet they've learned about each other quickly. Down the left side. Up steps the United States. Good crossover and good clear that time. Look for a second like A.J. Sobolski was going to have a shot, but as it went towards the center, it was cleared away. Knocked to the outside, and so the United States will have a corner kick. Comes in on the short pass, and then back the long cross, the header towards the goal, but it's going to go to the right side of the net. Good attempt, right idea, perhaps by the United States. Execution just not there. And a lot of times when you take a team and you put them together for maybe 5 days, 10 days is what the United States had prior to, in a training camp, prior to the start of this competition. You have a minimal amount of time in which to work together as a team. I will tell you that for China, I will tell you simply that most of the people from China have played together for 2 to 3 years, which is a lot. So they know each other. And some people will say maybe up to 10 years. But you can watch the way they play, and you can see how in tune they are with each other. At the 19-minute mark, that goal was scored by Zhu Zhan, a lieutenant in the Chinese Army. Drove it in, a deep shot from just left of center that cleared the top of the outstretched hands of Kelly Griffith for the first goal. Here comes the United States. They want to even the score, but Chinese says no. So China will roll it out. They will try to work up the left side. It does not take them long to get across the midfield stripe. Just like that, they go across. It's a race to the ball. Getting there first, that was Maggie Polson. Polson, a lieutenant in the United States Air Force, stationed at Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska, calls home Berlin, Connecticut. China to inbound. They're going to work it back towards the center. That's where they operate from. And quite honestly, they do it very admirably. Yu Ting, right side. Yu Ting dribbling through 2. Yu Ting dribbling through 3. Down she goes. And good hustle for the ball by China. Over on the left side, Yang Jin. Yang Jin again. She sends it back up to the center. You take a look at the Chinese play, and you'll see they are massed around the center of the field. They play good midfield soccer. Zhang Ri is their captain. Zhang Ri is their star player. Good fight for the ball over near the sideline closest to us. Tussle underway. And that's going to go to China. So it appears. Yes, it will. It will go to China. Backing away very slowly right there. You see A.J. Sobolski. So a deflected shot down the left side, and that means that Kelly Griffith will bring it back out. We're into the 25th minute of play. As I indicated earlier, we follow the FIFA rules here in CISM, but we do make one modification, and that is due to the extreme heat. We will take 1 minute timeout for water in each the first and second half of each match. It will only be 1 minute, and it's for the purpose of hydration. And here comes China again. They'll go over to the right side. Sobolski will get it back. China will keep it. Up steps Ariel Sultan. She's in a tussle. Sultan comes away with it, and she works it back to her teammates. Nice fight that time by Sultan. I like the challenge. Not afraid to stick her head in there at all. Far left side, Sobolski. She will kick it back. Good long pass at that time by Maggie Paulson. Trying to step up and get it again, Sultan. China 4 defenders back when they need to. United States trying to come up the left side, the cross pass. Fighting it quickly is Sobolski. And that ball goes out of bounds and will go over to China. The United States team has 6 players from the last CISM team. That was back in 2016. Players on the team this year that played previously for the United States. They include Leah McNell, Jin Gillette, Kristen Cooper, Jessica Ortiz-Villa, A.J. Sobolski, and Anastasia Abid. The United States clearing once again. That's Maggie Paulson doing the work. And China very quick to clean up on it, though. Possession time, not a statistic we have up here, but you take a look at the total time of possession in this, the 27th minute of this game, and you got to say, possession has leaned heavily towards China. United States trying to inbound it and come back the other way, but our referee on the field, that is a Park Se-yin of Korea, says no. Bliss, Texas. want to remind you that the International Military Sports Council, which you can shorten to CISM, promotes goodwill and a positive image by encouraging military fitness through highly competitive sports competitions. And the Armed Forces Sports Office of the United States of America is a proud affiliate of not only CISM, but the United States Olympic Committee and the U.S. Paralympics. And as they are members and affiliated with these organizations, they continue to strengthen partnerships with these and other national sports governing bodies. You can visit armedforcesports.com for more information. You take a look at the standings in the pool thus far. Korea stands atop of Group A thanks to their 1-0 win over the United States on day one of this tournament, so they pick up 3 points in pool play. Canada, by virtue of tying the Netherlands, they each come away with 1 point. So thus far, it's Korea, Canada, the Netherlands, USA, and China. USA, as they lost 1-0, get no points. And then, of course, China, this being their first game, we'll see the outcome of this. The winner of this one will pick up 3, and if it ends in a draw, each team will get 1. In Group B, as a result of the 6-0 win last night by France over Germany, France stands atop that pool. Bahrain and Brazil yet to play. So once again, Kelly Griffith steps in. We'll bring it out on the left side. Sobolski tries to keep it in play, but off the side of her head, China again will press it up. That is Li Yuting, who throws it in. And a fight for the ball, pushing the back that time. No call, play on. Paulson gets credit for the effort. No penalty. Sobolski will get it downfield, but quickly. There to get it back around the other direction, Lin Yuping. And offsides. Comes back. One nil. Here's the run down the right side. The crossing pass by China. Unable to convert. Dribbling and dancing in the center. Shot on goal, and nice play by Kelly Griffith, who lifts it up and over the crossbar. Nice save, number 3 tonight by Kelly Griffith. She has her work cut out for her tonight as China has pressed and pressed and pressed. But thus far, on shots on goal, they've only put 1 into the net. It's interesting to know what might be going through the minds of both these coaches for Derek Whelan of the Air Force, who comes to this team from the Netherlands. In fact, he's in the midst of being reassigned right now to another duty assignment. Shot on goal, and again, nice job that time by Kelly Griffith. She positioned herself nicely, did not have to move much. But it'd be interesting to see what's going through the minds of these coaches. Nice pass down the right side, and it goes out of bounds. In other words, China playing a very controlled game right now, and the United States really trying to regroup with each possession, unable to move it down the field and get themselves in a shot for more than a couple of opportunities throughout the course of this game. But perhaps there might be the thought that their opponent might wear down. That's hard to say. Can you acclimate to the hot weather here in El Paso, Texas? Well, you kind of have to. But that is a physiological process. Left side, back towards the center. Pass a little bit behind. Good effort that time by Lin Youngjin. So the timing, maybe not quite fully there with China, but nonetheless, you see a team that is balanced. You see a team that plays well together, understands each other. You can call it chemistry. You can call it teamwork. You can call it whatever you want. But China's got that tonight. USA thwarted again at the midfield line. China back on the attack. All but two players across into the USA side. Down the center, gets by everybody, but there to clean it up on the left side. One of the teammates, she crosses it nicely. Header towards, away from the goal, back to the goal, and it's a goal! Goal, China! China takes a 2-0 lead over the USA. You talked about working the ball. They work the ball with skill from the center to the right, to the center, to the left. Shot, well done. Give credit where it's due. China played it nicely. Coming in the 37th minute. And that goal was made by Li Yuting. Yuting has been active on that half of the field all night long. She got the opportunity. She made good on it. She gives her team a 2-0 lead. Paulson pushed from behind, but no call on that. And the United States trying to get it downfield, trying to set something up for themselves. And they are having a tough time. Inbound the ball quickly. But it's not our ball. Instead it goes to China. The throw in. Up the field on the right side. Handball. Inadvertent, but handball nonetheless. And they walk back down towards the other end. At this point, you got to feel, you can see some of the energy perhaps draining from those teams. Not running with the sprints that we saw earlier in this contest. But we are approaching the 40-minute mark. Down on the field goes Li Yan, but she pops up. Also down goes Li Yuting, but she too pops up. China working over to the left side, coming back towards the center. Yao Wei. Yuting on the right side. She'll go to the center. Up steps Yao Wei again. And quickly the United States clears it. One word comes to mind when I watch this, and it's very simple. It's called resiliency. You got to fight the heat. You got to fight your opponent. You got to stay in it. You're going to go down a goal. You may go down 2 goals, but you have to stay resilient. Into the 40th minute. China would love to grab another goal if they could. That would be reminding us of France last night as they took a 3-0 lead over Germany at the half. Added 3 more in the second half. Here comes China. Look for the cross pass. There it is. Knocked out of play once again. Good effort by the United States. They had 8 players back. And quite honestly, that's what it's going to take sometimes to stop China. Pass down the left side. Over towards the middle, and up comes Kelly Griffith once again. Griffith directing traffic, sends her teammates down the field, and gives it a long boot. But turned, blocked nicely by China. They trade possessions. And here comes China. Lin Yangjin. And Yangjin shoots on goal and gets another goal. You look down, you miss it. You look up, you see the ball in the back of the net, and you got to go goal for China. China wanted 3 as they went into the half. China has got 3. They've got 3 with roughly 3 or 4 minutes remaining. Don't look up. That's the bottom line. Shot on goal that time. Nicely done by Wang Ri. Wang Ri, credit with the goal. And that came in the 41st minute. Let me correct on that. That goal was scored not by Wang Li. That goal was scored by Liu Yangjin. So I apologize for that. Difficult to see through the melee down there in front of the goal. But the bottom line is China gets credit and they go up 3-0. This is a team that is not awed by the strength of the United States. They're not awed by the fact that USA has a number of spectators in the stands. And they are not awed by that this is their first trip to CISM. Just as China wanted to add 1 before the half, the United States wants to put a tally on the board as well. But China refusing to let that happen. Back in the direction of China. They will take their time coming back down the field, both teams sensing that they are nearing the end of the first half of this match. China will not stop though. Yu Ting kicks it back to the center. Over to the left side off the foot of Zhang Ri. Far left side. China thinks they did it one time. They can do it again before the half ends. Cross-field pass to Yu Ting. She controls it nicely. Chest ball. Works it back to the center. Yu Ting again, right side. Back to the center. Zhang Ri controlling the action. Gets it back out to Yu Ting. Yu Ting takes a long glancing shot towards the goal, and it bounced over the hands of Kelly Griffith and then over the cross. A better description. China drops back in defense. Challenge against USA. China comes away with it. Zhu Shan on the left side. Zhu Shan again. She will cross it to the right. Comes over to Li Yangjin. Yangjin has one goal already tonight. She's got one of the three by China. Yu Ting down the right side. She will cross. USA will kick it out and head it out. Sobolski, left side. She will send it long. In on the center that time came Scotty Colton. China not back on their heels in the least. Colton steps up. She's challenged from behind. She gets pushed. Indirect United States. They get it down quickly. But China gets down quickly as well. There to gather that in. Yu Ping. Referee looking at the watch. Left side back to the center. And United States takes possession. They will keep it after the push. Kristen Cooper launches it long. They'll take anything they can get right now, will the United States. And you see the defense from China spread out across the field as time of the first half comes to an end. And after one half in tonight's game between China and the United States, China by virtue of 3 goals. First goal coming at the 19-minute mark. That was by Zhu Zhan. The second goal coming at the 37-minute mark. That goal was scored by Li Yuting. And then their last goal at the 41-minute mark, put to the back of the net by number 15, Lin Yangjin. So they go to the sidelines. They will take a 15-minute break. We're going to take a short break here as well. As China has taken a 3-0 lead over the United States. 15-minute break. We're going to step aside, take a break ourselves. We'll pick it back up with action in the second half. China 3, the United States 0. We'll be back. The goalkeeper, Treji. China playing control soccer here tonight. Finds a lane down the left side. The movement towards goal. Where's the defender? Not there. Oh, and it passes by at least 2 China players. Another opportunity missed by China. Working the ball down the left side quickly. Zhu Zhan. And China maintains possession. We talked about Second Lieutenant Pamela Wishart the last game and told you that she played up at West Point and then learned about this team when she picked up a friend trying out for it here at Fort Bliss. Wishart stationed here at this installation. Then asked if she could try out, and of course the answer was by all means, but she was overcoming an injury from her senior year at West Point. She steps up and shows she is true to form and back to it here in this tournament. So that is Army Second Lieutenant Pamela Wishart. We'll try to keep you informed about some of the players that we have on the field. More difficult with the players from foreign countries than perhaps the United States for all the understandable reasons. And the United States dropping back on defense in a good way. going to try to work it up the right side. China says, we don't want anything to do with that. Good fight for the ball. Nice play that time. Coming to the outside by Burdell. Down the left side, Kristen Cooper towards the corner. Cooper in the challenge. She'll maintain possession. Then she's 2-on-1. Double team. Ball goes out. USA inbounds. China just gathered around near the center. Shot down towards the goal. Goes wide left. Whitehurst over there as well as Burdell. Noted earlier that China had played together for about 2 or 3 years. Some people think perhaps longer. It's difficult to say sometimes. And in talking with their coaching staff, only 4 or 5 of the Chinese team members have ever been to the United States before. So this is the first trip here under the guise of CISM for the vast majority of this team. China will inbound on this side of the field. United States takes control. We'll try to set things up. Over to the right side, then back to the center. China comes away with it. They will work it up the left side. Zhu Zhan back towards the center. United States dropping back on defense. And China playing aggressive. China playing under control. Li Yan comes down the left side. She'll cross it over. Out comes Kelly Griffith. It's a tie up. Griffith comes away with it in good shape. She'll roll it out on the left side. Good header that time by China. And a tangle on the other side, a push and a shove. It will come back the other way. In on the action that time, Lin Yuping for China. Number 5. Wong Ri was the one to get that started. And the United States will take the indirect. Excuse me, China will take the indirect. Good aggressive play that time by both China and the United States. And USA comes away with it. Slide tackle on the far side. And down on the field, we'll try to get a number for you on that. That looks like number 18. That looks like Li Yuting down on the far side. Quickly out comes the trainer for China. That's who it is. Li Yuting. She will jump back up. She will stand. Each team allowed only 3 substitutions in the contest. They can have a total of 15 people on the bench, but can have only 3 substitutions into the game. And of course, once you're out, you're out. Good bounce around, far side, United States. Throw in, United States pushing it up. United States shot on goal, and over the crossbar it goes. Good effort that time by USA. And you had Scotty Colton in on the attack. Colton on the left side. Over to the right. She pushes her other forward. Ariel Saltine. It's Colton and Saltine up front. Three 0 China. We are in the 53rd minute. Ready to launch it right now. Yu Ping. She does so. Good kick upfield. Challenged once again by USA. Jen Gilbert in on the attack. Already USA spending more time on the opposite half of the field as I'm joined in the broadcast right now by the Chief of the United States Delegation and the Secretary of the U.S. Armed Forces, Steve Denote. And Steve, what are your thoughts on China? You've watched them. You've been staying up with our technical side, but you've also watched China. What goes through your mind when you see this team?
It's very clear they've been playing together for quite a while. Got some very accurate passes, very crisp on their movements. So as you can see, they've been preparing for this for a few years, especially in preparation for hosting the Military World Games next year in Wuhan.
Tell us about the Military World Games. They come up every 4 years, 1 year before the Olympic Games. They are, in effect, the Military Olympics. They take place, as I said, 1 year prior to the regular Olympics, but multi-sport activity, but then also a great occasion.
That is correct. Every 4 years, you got the Military World Summer Games. There's actually a Winter Games now as well. But the Summer Games, you got all the sports, just like the Olympics, all the sports within the IOC, the international federations, but within CISM, we got all of the unique CISM sports to include our 3 military pentathlons, the aeronautical pentathlon, naval pentathlon, the military pentathlon. Those are CISM branded events. And then usually you get anywhere from 19 to about 25 sports being competed. China's planning to host, I believe, if I'm accurate, about 24 sports. They're going to have a few demonstration sports like tennis, table tennis, men's gymnastics. Those will be introduced during that time frame. Badminton as well. So we got 4 total demonstration sports. So they are planning on hosting a large game. Last installment was South Korea. That was the 6th edition. South Korea had 118 CISM member nations, over 7,000 athletes.
Good cross pass by China that time, but to no avail. And that is just when you have all of those athletes and you have all of those sports and all those personnel into your country, it is a major undertaking in terms of logistics and operations. You take a look at this game so far tonight, Steve. Shots on goal. You got 6 shots on goal tonight so far for China. 3 great saves by Kelly Griffith, and only about 3 shots on goal by the United States. Another shot.
And another save.
And another save by Kelly Griffith. She steps in and gets the job done. So, I mean, this is a game tonight that has really leaned heavily in the favor of China as they have a 3-0 lead over the USA, and we are in the 56th minute of play.
Yeah, so as we're reading some Facebook comments coming in, people are asking how often does the women's soccer go on? They're asking, is it every 2 years? Right now, CISM is trying to get women's soccer on a every 2 year cycle. Currently, if a nation steps up and says, we're going to host this thing, CISM's not going to complain. They're going to let them host it. So to answer some questions, every 2 years. Now, one of the other questions that came in was, what does the team do in the off years? Well, that depends on the nation. For the United States, every woman soccer player you see on that field, they are full-time active duty military personnel. They are not professional soccer players. They do not play year-round just for the military. They are airmen. They are soldiers, sailors, Marines, Coast Guard. When they look in that mirror, they see a service member looking back. We get to take him in for about 3 weeks for training.
Ooh, as does some of these other teams. Nice save back towards the goal, and it's going to go left. That one came out and off the legs, if you will, of the goalkeeper, Clay G. And she was very fortunate that we did not have somebody there that convert on that. So we missed that opportunity. But You know, you're right. These teams, some of these teams hang together. You see them, well, you see China. They've been together for some time. Korea plays in a top league over in Korea, so they play together all year long. But teams like the Netherlands, teams like Germany, teams like the United States, they're very fortunate to be able to come together for a short training camp prior to coming into this competition. So it kind of differs from nation to nation, if you will.
Yep.
But, you know, you talked about, well, how long this has been going on and how often it happens. And look at all the red shirts down there. Look at all the red shirts. They're going to turn it back around. Head back the other way. When they play defense with everybody. But Germany has won this competition 4 times. They have 4 silver medals plus 1 bronze. Brazil has won this competition 3 times. And we have yet to see Brazil. They are in Group B along with Germany. So those two will marry up prior to the end of group play. The Netherlands has won this competition 2 times. They also have 2 silver and 4 bronze. They've also placed 4th a couple of times. The United States, they won the first CISM Military World Cup. That was back in 2002. They got a silver medal in 2006, and they finished in 3rd place in 2003 and 2004. And since then, the past 12 years, Steve, it's been a long haul. No medals for the United States.
That is correct. And for the U.S., our philosophy and methods of how we select the team have not changed. Again, they are coming in from all across the world from their respective duty stations. So they are playing in their own clubs, local clubs. They are staying fit throughout the year. However, they do not have the opportunity to play together because of just the vast locations that they are at. We have gals on this team right now that are stationed in Japan, over in Europe, and throughout the United States. So as other teams have jumped on, and many of them do have the opportunity to play together, whether it be that's just their job within the military, or if they're in a nation that's small enough they can get together on the weekend, then that's why we have a slight disadvantage. However, again, this is military sports, and you have military athletes out there 100% for the U.S.
They are military personnel first and soccer players second, period. That's the way that one goes. So let me ask you this. Here comes China. They're ready to get back on the board. But credit USA, we have played down on China's half of the field throughout the better part of this half. And the United States trying to press it up right now. Comes over to the right side. Saltine heads it down to the corner. And well played down there that time by Yu Ping. So enlighten our listeners, how do you make, if you're an active duty service member in the United States, how do you earn a spot on either the men's team or the women's team to represent the U.S. Armed Forces in a competition like this?
So number one, this is not high school football. This is not, or soccer. This is not college soccer. This is a step above. So if you are playing, you have to try to get affiliated with a local club. Try to get the highest level possible. Keep your shape, not just for your military. Oh, we got some action down on.
Good tangle that time. Well played that time by Wang Ri. Again, she is the core of this team for China. She's the one that makes it go, and you can see just then why they say that about her. So you got to keep your skills up and play at the highest level you possibly can. And, of course, if that's at the academies or if that's at a Division I school, that certainly counts for something. But that's not always the case. I mean, you take your skills to the highest level possible, and then what do you do?
Then from there, we have the coaching staff out there scouting. Now, for the men's, we select the team through the Armed Forces Championships. So if you are a soldier, Marine, sailor, airman, Coast Guard, keep looking at your respective service sports page. Try to get the information out there. When they have the application process out there, you want to get in there and make sure that your service coach is scouting you. Try to get as many events under your belt, especially events such as the Defenders Cup down in San Antonio, other national events where they have military divisions. Try to play with one another. And the same thing for our women. Oh, you got some action again.
Good action, but also good recovery that time by the defense of China. They did a good job in getting the ball back to Cui Ji in the goal. And that was Wang Li doing most of the work. We'll call her name probably as the United States increases the attack. You're going to see that Wang is going to be pretty active back there. Far left side that time.
USA still keeping it down in this side of the half, so we want to keep that attack. I think the winds has been a factor all night. We were getting gusts up to 35 miles an hour, which has knocked out our equipment a couple times, whether it be the internet or the camera. But our staff here has been very responsive, making sure everything's up to par, trying to keep a good steady stream.
Chest ball that time, but there to clean it up very quickly is Kelly Griffith. So now one more question about making this team. You've got your skills up. You have submitted an application. You have come to the attention of the national coach. If somebody wants to find out more information about this, how do they do that?
So if you visit armedforces.com, that will take you to our Armed Forces Sports website. So armedforcesports.com. From there,
shot on goal by the United States. Nice save that time by goalkeeper Tryouts. ArmedForcesSports.com. That is your first stop, digitally speaking.
Yes, sir. And from there, you can visit your service page, look for the application process. And then if you are invited to camp, then coaches take over. You got to come fit and ready to go. If you are not fit, not ready to go, you're going to make the first cuts, which is what happened here in Fort Bliss.
This is where the camp was held as the United States team assembled here about 2 weeks ago. They played 10 scrimmage games before opening up competition 2 days ago here in the 2018 World Military Women's Soccer Championship.
That's right. The coaching staff here was selected about a year ago. And even though they're stationed in Netherlands, Alabama, Colorado, they were able to get together, scout throughout the services, looking for the top female players. And we assembled quite a group for camp. And out of that 40 that were at camp, you're down to the final 21. So it was not an easy decision for the coaches.
You talk about some top-notch coaches. You got some top-notch players here, but top-notch coaches as well. The coach for France was the assistant coach in Rio de Janeiro for the women, for the nation of France. And so you have players at the top level. You have some coaches at the top level as well. Good effort, good hustle down this time, down the right side. That was Amy Horney. Keeps it in play. But China keeps it under control. Wong Ri boots it out to the right side. China tries to set things up again. Bump and run, no call that time. Kristen Whitehurst playing physical. Back towards the center and then over towards the right. Glancing shot, that was off the foot of Jessica Ortiz-Villa. Ortiz-Villa into this contest here in the second half.
And going back to our coaching staff, our goalkeeper coach, Captain Erin Isler, she is a two-time Armed Forces soccer player. She played in France in 2010 and was at the Military World Games in Brazil in 2011 as our goalkeeper. And going to Major Marcy Walton. She played in 2006. She was on that U.S. team at the CISM championship. So they have active CISM experience, and of course head coach. He's coached the men's side on a few occasions.
Good shot on goal at that time. Nice attempt, but also good play in the goal by Tryouts. So yes, we have our own level of talent as well. Shot this time up and over. Launched up in the air by Anastasia Abid. And USA just needs to find the top of the net. That's all. They just need to get it either over the outstretched hands or to the right or to the left of Tryouts. Tryouts will put it in play. We have another substitution coming into the game for China. Into the contest comes Sun Ting Ting. Sun Ting Ting. We've had substitutions for both China and the United States. We'll try to check those numbers and tell you who's out there for the USA. Up front, once again, you've got Ariel Saltine and you got Scotty Colton. Those are the two forwards. Anastasia Abid is out there as well, as is Kristen Whitehurst. Moving up also from midfield, Kristen Cooper on the field. And there is our midpoint water break. Headed to the sidelines as well as Amy Horney. And also out there, that's number 13, Jessica Ortiz Villa. So as they move around, we'll do our best to spot the numbers for you. But as they head to the midpoint here in the second half, the score remains China 3, USA nothing. So give USA credit, Steve. You look at their play in the second half. You got Kristen Whitehurst out there as well. And Whitehurst is joined by Amy Horney, as I said. And also number 11, that is Kristen Cooper. And trying to read your numbers, your hand signals, but I'm having a tough time making them out. It's number 13, Ortiz Villa, as we had indicated earlier. So the 1 minute water break, again a modification of the FIFA rules put into effect by CISM. Safety, fairness, and friendship. Those are the orders of the day when you come into this competition. So with that break over, we have entered approximately the 69th minute of play. They count the minute timeout as stoppage time, and that will be added to the regulation time. And let's see if the United States could put something together. Out of bounds on the far left side. We're coming to you tonight on Facebook, and it's always good to hear from those listeners that have questions or those folks that want to send a comment back in our direction. We'll do the best we can to respond. And again, the conclusion of this contest in very short order. This game will be uploaded to YouTube. You have an opportunity to watch it in replay on YouTube. And action, not nearly as fast, not nearly as furious right now as it was in the beginning of this game. I don't want to say that the heat has taken a toll, but nonetheless, with China leading 3-0, we don't see the constant runs for the ball, and we don't see the continuous pressure on the offense that we saw from China in the beginning of this game. Down the left side, good job that time by Amy Horney. China will inbound. Throw in comes from Tan Shan. USA seeking to turn it around. They'll get it back up on their right side. You've got Horney pushing it downfield. Chasing after it goes Jessica Ortiz Villa. She keeps it in play. And good attempt that time by Ortiz Villa. Jessica Ortiz Villa is a member of the Air Force's security forces. She's stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana. Treji will get it out. But a little bit more on Ortiz Villa. She's in charge of protecting weapons, but is also an honor guardsman. She started playing soccer when she was 8 years old. Tells us her dad was a soccer player himself, and she simply wanted to follow in his footsteps. Wanted to have something in common with her father. Well, she certainly has gotten that job done as she's risen to the international level here. Fight down at the end line. Ortiz Villa says she's had a lot of amazing moments and a lot of amazing opportunities. It's a game that's taken her so many different places, along with her service time. She competed in the Under-14 World Cup in Canada and took first place in that competition. Played in clubs in Nebraska and out in Iowa as well. How did she hear about this program? Well, she heard about it from the Armed Forces, from the men's soccer coach, along with a previous player on the Air Force team. And that's what it takes. Sharing the story.
Oh, just a little too far ahead.
So let's take a look, if we can, and clean up players out on the field. You got Jessica Ortiz Villa, as I've already indicated. You got Kayla Bradell out there as well, along with Kristen Whitehurst. Joining Whitehurst is Jin Gillette, along with Kristen Cooper, AJ Sobolski, as well as Amy Horney, along with Ariel Saltine. In the goal, Kelly Griffith, and on the field, Maggie Polson, working alongside of Anastasia Abid. Those are the 11 aside for the United States.
So now that we're chatting and blabbing about how to get on, which is this team, which is a great opportunity for any of our service members, questions are starting to come in about next year in China. So next year, the tryouts, we haven't set a final date, but we're going to have a tryouts roughly May, June time frame. We will get more details as we finalize some of those dates. So to go to China, we will need to have visas. We will need to have the final agreements done well in advance by the middle of July, just simply because of the size and scope of these games. That's why China wants to make sure they have everything in place well in advance. So once we get that information out, we'll make sure it's posted online, and we should have that hopefully within the next month or so once we get the official final invitation from China.
Your delegation size will be about 250 personnel.
We are hoping.
And how many different sports will be contested in China?
Total, you're looking at roughly 28 total sports for China.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
They pretty much are hosting every sport plus some 4 additional demonstration sports. Here we go. We got some action here. Is it in?
Shot on goal. Nice save. Knocks it up and over the crossbar by Trey Ji. Good shot on goal, but give Trey Ji the credit she deserves. She got up and got it over. And so the United States unable to score, and they stay behind on the scoreboard by the score of 3-0.
We're going to take that corner kick and try to get a little redemption here.
We have played the majority of this half on China's side of the field, just like China in the first half played the majority of the game on the USA side. Tussle for the ball, no touch. Who touched it last?
Looks like we got China ball right now.
So the Military World Games that you're talking about is really a true bona fide Olympic-like experience. They've got the athletes' villages. All these countries come together. You talked about the number of sports. How many countries do you think, out of 138 member nations with CISM, how many countries do you think will be represented in one way or another in China at the World Games next year in 2019?
Well, if we continue the trend on the number of teams that have been participating, last go around in South Korea, we had 118 nations. Now, a few of those nations were observer nations hoping to join the CISM family. So we had a roughly, out of member nations, 111. And if we can get a little bit more than that, then we'll just keep continuing to grow. Now, the World Games are the second largest multi-sport event around the world, second only to that of the Olympic Games.
That is quite a statement. That is a very significant statement. Here comes the United States on a run of their own, but here comes Tryouts back again out of the goal.
And of course, the difference between the Olympic Games and the Military World Games is the word military.
And the difference in the World Cup and what we're playing here again is the word military. This is the Military World Cup for women that we are contesting here at Fort Bliss, Texas. I'm Van Stokes along with Steve Denote. And wherever you may be around the world, we're glad you have the opportunity to catch a little bit of this action here. This is only day 3 of this tournament. It's going to end on July the 3rd with a gold medal match between the winner of Pool A, that's USA, Republic of South Korea, Netherlands, Canada, and China, and the winner of Pool B, France, Germany, Bahrain, and Brazil. And we have yet to see Bahrain or Brazil on the field. We take a look out later on tonight, and it's going to be Korea and Canada. That's coming up at 9 o'clock. That's Mountain Time, 11 o'clock out on the East Coast. And then tomorrow, it's going to be Brazil and France, and that will be a good one.
That's going to be an exciting game. You have 2 former champions going to battle it out. Brazil was not happy they lost their title, so we're going to see what they bring to the table. Now, Van, this event is the largest women's soccer championship to date. So far, we've had 2 championships with only 8 teams. The fact that we have 9, we have now raised the bar. We are hoping to get more teams into the fold. And I think we're on the right trend right now.
And there are 16 to 17 countries with women's military teams. Now, in Europe, you had to qualify to get here.
That is correct.
Not so in the United States, but in Europe, the teams that came out of Europe, the Netherlands, France comes because they're defending champions. Germany qualified. Greece was eliminated, and I think 2 other countries were eliminated as well.
You have to get the official numbers on there, but in the past, we've had Belgium with a solid team.
Here comes China. Works the left side. Cross
Nice
pass.
block.
Blocked nicely. Cleared. Back up the field. Back in the center. You got Kristen Cooper working it down on the right side. Gives it out to Saltine. Saltine trying to look for an opening on the left side. She finds one.
That wins is driving that ball to the corner, unfortunately.
You look at the flags on the post in the corners, the corner flags, and they are blowing briskly.
Blowing our camera as well, I can tell you that. It's already knocked out our internet bubble, which I had to hop up on the crow's nest here and try to readjust it back to the radio station. I could only imagine what it's like to be down on the field right now, trying to get your ball to move in one direction and it decides it's going to go somewhere else.
Two on one, down in the corner. Sobolski pressed in the corner. And she goes down. Excuse me, that was Amy Horney out of the United States Marine Corps, 2nd Lieutenant.
Recent VMI grad.
She went to VMI.
She did. She's now what we call a 3rd lieutenant. A 3rd lieutenant is a Marine who has not quite gone through TBS yet. So I'm sure some of our Marines online are going to find that amusing. But yes, that was a term that I heard from one of our rugby coaches back in the day when I was running the Marine Corps sports program.
And you're talking to a former Marine, and I have never heard that team.
Never.
I've never heard that term.
I don't know if it's a common term, but our former rugby coach was quite the comedian. So.
Well, when I talked to the superintendent up at VMI, the Virginia Military Institute, who is General Retired Binford P., I'll let him know that he has a young student from VMI that has adopted nicely to this level of play.
Yeah, not just an outstanding athlete, but just an outstanding person all around. I have quite the confidence she's going to be an awesome Marine throughout her career. What she brought to this team at such a young age, I mean, starting on the field right now with a lot of veterans, I mean, this kid is just phenomenal.
We are in the 83rd minute now of this game, and when you look at this contest, you have seen 2 different kinds of games. You saw a very hard-pressing, aggressive, charging, attacking team in China in the first half, and here in the second half, The United States is trying to put an offensive game together, but it's a defensive team from China that has literally shut the door. So you've seen basically two different kinds of games so far in this contest.
Yep, definitely wind is a factor. That's why you're seeing a lot of the action down here on the east side of the field as the wind's blowing down from that mountain range to the west. And China has been able to put the defense on.
That they have. You count the number of red jerseys back on USA side of the field, and how many do you see there, Steve? All of them. When they need to come up, they come up. When they need to drop back, they drop back. But then again, this is a team that has been playing together for well a few years. They told us 2 or 3. It's very likely longer.
And it's amazing this is their first CISM.
But they don't play like it. They do not play like it. Based on what we've seen, and here they come down the left side. Goes ahead to Jean Ting Ting.
Nice kick out there by Ortiz Villa.
Ortiz Villa has the hands up. She's tough. I like her. I like her style. I like her play.
She was on the team in 2016 in France, and I can tell you right now, her biceps were half the size they are now. That gal decided she's going to lift some weights. She's got some duty that she has to perform, so she turned around and hit the dumbbells pretty hard. During the team photos, Van, she looked at me and said, "You guys got any dumbbells lying around?" And at first I thought she called me a dumbbell, which would have been partly accurate, however.
But then she said, "No, sir, not you. I'm talking about the weights."
Exactly.
I got it.
Like a good airman.
The United States playing a little more control soccer here, a little more settled soccer, if you will, here in this second half. Coming up quickly on the left side, Amy Horney tries to work it down the middle, but you take a look at it again, you got everybody on that side of the field. China, 6 shots on goal in the first half. They've only had a couple of shots here in the second half. Meanwhile, the United States, only 3 shots on the goal in the first half. They've upped their total to 6 shots on goal so far.
That's correct. And of course, they're teasing us, Van. They just brought in Pizza Hut. That's what we've been smelling in the last 20 minutes.
You're talking to the press box here at Stout Field. Far left side. Let's see if the United States can't cross it over. Over it comes, but knocked out of the way of China. What about Fort Bliss? Haven't they done a yeoman's job in hosting this tournament?
The entire staff, all the way from the frontline personnel to their leadership. Every last person here has been phenomenal. I can't tell you how happy I've been with the overall organization of this event. Every detail has been addressed. Every little nuance, every little challenge that presents itself, they have found solutions. They have found every reason to say yes to what can we do for you. They have taken care of this U.S. team since the 2nd of June, and now they are taking care of 8 other teams in addition to the U.S. and world-class organization here from Morale, Welfare, Recreation. Couldn't have been happier.
China won the cross kick there and goes out of bounds off of a USA player. That was
number 17.
Yeah, that was number 17. China's ball to inbound. That one came unsuspectingly off Bradell.
I think she was a little surprised too. She
was.
Shake her head a couple times.
Bradell didn't see it coming. But that's okay that time because Cooper saw it coming. You know, they call Cooper the enforcer. I like that.
That makes a lot of sense. That gal's got quite the fire on her. Every scrimmage I've watched her play, she was right up in everybody's grill. She's the enforcer. She can put the ball in the back of the net if you give her a little bit of room, and she can do that with accuracy. They call her Shanks, by the way. You know, they all have nicknames, but Shanks is part of her maiden name, I think, and so they just shorten and say, "Hey, Shanks." Here comes China. Left side. They'll take their time and set it up. And Cooper was with us in 2015 at the Military World Games in South Korea. That was her first experience at CISM, which is amazing when you have that first experience at CISM and it's the Military World Games. You automatically think that's what it's going to be like every time. And most of the time they do come back and have great experiences during the off-military world game years. In France and Fontainebleau, or no, I'm sorry, Rennes, France, they had a great opening ceremony with a multi-jet flyover from one of the palaces.
Shot down on goal, but nice stop that time. Boy, she has really been working tonight as USA's goalie, Kelly Griffith. But that was the first real hard shot on goal that we've seen from China here in the second half. We're now in the 88th minute of this game. And stoppage time, of course, will have been added as a result of the water breaks and maybe some substitutions and not a lot of injuries in this game. But nonetheless, we're coming down to the final stages with USA trailing China right now by the score of 3-0. 3 goals in the first half by China, and the United States not able to tally one.
We got some shout-outs for Shanks down there. We got multiple Facebook comments. Shanks the enforcer, Shanks. So if you got other players you want to shout out, keep it up.
We've talked about Pamela Wishart, the only Army members here stationed at Fort Bliss. Another nice job that time by Kelly Griffith. She has really stepped up tonight. And had she not stepped up in the manner that she had, it would not be 3-0. It would be maybe 6-0.
When she stretches like that, she reminds me of Inspector Gadget for those old enough to remember that cartoon. Go Gadget arms. She's out there.
You know, one of the people we want to talk about is Jin Gillette. We haven't talked about her a whole lot. She's got semi-pro experience, does Gillette. She does a good job out there. She's in the Air Force, stationed at Mountain Home, Idaho, calls home Ormond Beach, Florida. But you know what she does when she's not playing soccer? She flies the F-15.
There we go. It's up there with the Eagle.
What can you say you do when you're not watching soccer?
It's not flying an F-15, I'll tell you that.
No contest.
I wish.
A lot of respect, a lot of admiration for these players out on the field. And Jin Gillette typifies the military athlete. And again, up steps the goalie, Trey G. You know, Trey has been a little bit busy tonight, but she hasn't been challenged quite like Kelly Griffith has been challenged back at the other end.
Yeah, we got another shout out for Jin Gillette on Facebook. Said talk about her just as we were talking about her. So we got you covered there. We got OV, that's Jessica Ortiz Villa. Former Colorado Rapids player Scotty Colton. That's what we're getting. We're getting a lot of shout-ins here. We got C Money, Lieutenant Carla Simo. That's because she's a contracting officer. That's what we're hearing.
We're staying within the margins, I can assure you that. We're well within the margins here at Stout Field.
And like we said, you know, these players are out there. They're full-time military personnel. That's why you're seeing C Money.
You know, the motto for CISM, the Conseil International du Sport Militaire, the acronym CISM, CISM. The motto is friendship through sports. And I was talking with the German coaches and the Netherlands coaches, and one of the coaches told me, he said, you know, when we get out on the field and we contest against each other, we don't like each other on the field during the game at all. But when it's over, we love to sit down and have a beer together. And that is friendship through sports.
That is correct. So now online you're seeing the, unfortunately our computer program here doesn't stop the clock here, but we are at the 90-minute mark.
We're beyond the 90-minute mark. We're into stoppage time as Horny goes down on the far side. And I don't know if she was pushed, I don't know if she was hit or not, but she tumbled down to the turf very quickly. And it looks like she might have twisted something just a little bit, but she's going to try to bounce it off, shake it off, walk around just a little bit. And she'll jog back into this contest in good shape. Glad to see her bounce up. What is it with China, Steve? Why have they proved to be so tough tonight?
Just number of years playing together. You can't do any team sport without being there.
Talk about technical side. You got good technical side that time. Well played one-on-one. That was by Tan Shan.
And you can see down below you got Canada warming up out in the distance.
Canada's got a game coming up against the Republic of South Korea. Corner kick by the United States. Header opportunity, no good, and China clears it.
And that looks like the final whistle.
And there's your ball game. There's your ball game before that last shot opportunity takes place, as China has defeated the United States by the score of 3-0, tallied all 3 goals in the first half of play. The United States came out in the second half. They played a lot of offense, but they could not get through the defense of China, and China comes away with a shutout.
And there's nothing to hang your head down about that. They played an outstanding game in the second half, even in the first half. Their defense showed that they can hang. Despite the years of China playing together, the U.S. was able to come out with only 3 weeks together and show that, hey, we're going to hang with everybody. So they controlled the ball most of the second half, and that's something they could work with.
The United States hung with the Republic of South Korea 2 nights ago, but they fell 1-0. Tonight they hang with China, particularly in the second half, but they fall in this contest 3-0. And if anything, Steve, to note, China has served note in this, their first CISM appearance, that they are a team that you have to take seriously. And if you don't, well, good luck.
That's right, Van. Now we have both teams going back. We're going to get ready for match number 5 of the tournament with China, or South Korea and Canada. Our U.S. team's going to be coming over here towards the sidelines here in a moment to thank all the great spectators that came out here at Fort Bliss. The stands were mostly full.
We expect them to come over here as they take a bow in front of the hometown faithful. That was something that China might have been a little bit concerned about, playing here on the home field of the United States, and of course the heat. And here comes the USA team over to show their appreciation to the hometown faithful here at Fort Bliss, Texas. And that's called a touch of class.
Here we go. Let's try to get some volume on it there.
We get a good round of applause of appreciation for those in the stands here at Stoutfield at Fort Bliss. And they say thank you. Thank you for your support, and we say thank you for all that you do.
Thanks, Van. Excellent job as always.
Very, very nice. So that's going to bring game 1 to a conclusion here tonight. We're going to let the teams clear the field, and then we will bring on the Republic of South Korea along with Canada, and we will get set for the second contest tonight between those 2 teams. That's coming up 9 o'clock Mountain Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, and wherever you are in the world, you're going to have to do the math to figure out. But we hope you're going to be with us, because we're going to be back in about 40 minutes for the second game tonight. For Steve DeNote, I'm Van Stokes. Until then, talk to you later.